is best suited to talk about what went down in July of 22, because that's like the precursor to where we are.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is really important. And, I just want to say, first of all, that Chairman Omali Yeshitela, Jesse, myself, are guilty of nothing, nothing that they describe as a crime or anything else at all, ever, so that it's just outrageous. But before I answer your question, it's really important that the history of this country, the assassination and the involvement of the FBI, CIA, and other agencies that assassinated Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Fred Hampton, and so many others, including African political prisoners who are still in prison today from the 1960s for standing up, not against racism, but for power over their lives. And that is the question. But this is the human rights that, we see the conditions that Black people or African people inside this country and everywhere around the world face. It's like we have to look at this reality. Africa is wealthy, but African people are the most impoverished in the world. So that's what this movement is about. And it's saying that white people can support that. So I just want to say that. But on July 29th of 2022, 7 properties connected with the Uhuru movement, some in St. Petersburg, Florida, and some here in St. Louis, where Jesse and I are, were raided all at the same time, 6 a.m. on the East Coast, and we're in Central Time, 5 a.m. here, coming to my house that I share with another comrade, Chairman Omali Yeshitela and his wife, Ona Zane Yeshitela's home in North St. Louis, the most impoverished area of St. Louis, where they do the work. They build programs, doula training programs, which were going on that day, basketball court they built, just all the work that they are building for political and economic power in the hands. So that the Uhuru Solidarity Center, which is a building owned by the African People's Socialist Party, but we operated in South St. Louis in the white community and organized there. And it has a big banner that says Unity Through Reparations right in a very busy street here in South St. Louis. And then Jesse and Comrade Amanda's apartment was also raided here. And then in St. Petersburg was the Uhuru House, which had been there since early 1990s, in the center of St. Petersburg, in the center of the African community, as well as another house owned by Chairman Omali Yeshitela and another owned by another comrade, Akile Anai, who's a member of the African People's Socialist Party. So all this happened at the same time. They came with assault rifles. They broke down, where I live, they broke down the door. They broke down the frame of the door. So, you couldn't leave because of this. They took the chairman and deputy chair down the stairs with the laser sightings on their chests, and of course, knowing full well what this government had done to Fred Hampton and to so many others, thinking that this was it. They sent drones into the house, flashbang grenades into the houses, as well as into the Solidarity Center, coming in. I mean, it was a full raid, and they were doing this. They were there with many armored vehicles and everything in front of all the places for 6 hours in every place, going through everything in your house, taking your computers, your phones, all your devices, which we've never gotten back, of course. And, and then when we weren't able to talk to each other because they jammed the phones or took our phones. But then Kitty, who also lives here, got a text saying, ask them if we're under arrest. So Chairman Omali Yeshitela at a certain point was like, are we under arrest? Because they were handcuffed. And they were like, oh, no, you're not. You're not under arrest.
What was your experience that day? Because it went down all simultaneously, and I'm assuming everybody is not out and about and moving at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right, yeah. Admittedly, I was asleep. I know Chairman Omali and Deputy Chair Ona Zane, his wife, they were awake. And this is related. That morning, that very morning that the raids happened, Deputy Chair Ona Zane Yeshitela was preparing to go to the Uhuru House in North St. Louis to preside over a doula training. This is one of the programs that the Uhuru movement has created in the north side of St. Louis to uplift and empower the African working class community, and specifically to address the just genocidal rates of infant and maternal mortality faced by African women and mothers. And so that's what she was planning to do. I was planning to be there as well to assist with some audio-visual stuff for that incredible event that was happening. And then, at that 5 a.m., the voice on the loudspeaker began blaring, saying, "This is the FBI, come out with your hands up and nothing in your hands." We heard all of these flashbang grenades going off. And it was all of these noises all at once. So it was the loudspeaker, it was the flashbang grenades, and then it was the battering ram coming through the door. And we live in the apartment above the Uhuru Solidarity Center. So we walk down the stairs and there's this battering ram protruding up the stairs. And then, they handcuffed us and proceeded to raid the apartment and the Uhuru Solidarity Center for 6.5 hours. And of course, the minute this happened, we knew that this was happening to Chairman Omali Yeshitela and to members of the African People's Socialist Party, and understood that every gun pointed at us and every flashbang grenade thrown in our direction was being pointed at and thrown in the direction of Chairman Omali Yeshitela for leading this movement for over 50 years. And for fighting for liberation for African people, and also for doing something that the US government does not want to see happen, which is fracture the unity of the white population with our own government by organizing those of us in the white community to turn our backs on our own government and our own ruling class and unite with the African liberation struggle. So it's really significant that whereas in the 1960s, the US government was able to isolate the Black liberation movement, and white people by and large, did not have any kind of organized stand in solidarity with African people at that time when the assassinations were happening and the assaults were happening against leaders of the African liberation movement. Because of this strategy that the African People's Socialist Party and Chairman Omali Yeshitela have created to extend the Black liberation movement into the white community, it was really significant that at the same time that they had to go into the impoverished African working class north side of St. Louis to attack the African Revolution, they also had to come into the white community. They had to go to the Uhuru Solidarity Center and raid this building as well. And that's a testament to the significance of this strategy that the Uhuru movement has created, which, by the way, I just want to quickly mention, obviously, one of the things that the US government was intending to do by attacking a building with a big banner that says unity through reparations was scare white people away from wanting to take that position and wanting to side with the African freedom struggle and fight for reparations. But it has had the opposite effect. More white people, somebody just became a member of the Uhuru Solidarity movement because they drive by our building every day on their way to work and they see that banner. More and more white people are joining. The movement is growing and building and getting stronger. And people are coming in, not in spite of the attacks by the FBI, but because of them, because they want to stand with the African liberation movement and push back against these very dangerous attacks on the right of African people to have freedom of speech and organize for their liberation.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.